said in the sprinter, like he was going up, like the heat was rising. I was like, listen, I'm not about that. Like,
it's giving very much William the Karen, because girl, what? I love Jeray Mula, the girl from Run Away, where we have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, I'm coming to you all with a Zeus Network's Bad Boys Los Angeles season 1 episode. I don't remember. The name of this episode is called Survival of the Baddest. So, you know, they gave us the recap like they always do. Basically, you know, where Mula was pressing Carrion about his sexuality. Then, you know, Mula is getting into it with William for twerking on him. You know, just the basic dramatic stuff that they always do. Episode picks up right where we left off at their Zeus Network's bowling party, where we all know that the baby got into it with the brother. And Carrion is a clown because he talking about some, yeah, y'all, they was getting buck wild in Slippery Lane. It was a brawl in Slippery Lane. I mean, like, who does that? And y'all, if y'all seen that footage, that John was really crazy because them was really slipping and sliding. Like, girl, no. Because of the fight, there was obviously police involvement and people were hurt and things of that nature. I'm sure it was an investigation. The party was cut short. So the girls are upset. They're on a van and, you know, they're on their sprinter van, and they're like, oh, well, we just got lit. And it's nothing like just being turned up and then you can't even fully enjoy your turned upness. So I can understand everybody's frustration, for real. They're on the van and they're talking about the fight.
Damn, his shit is leaking.
Gutta K had the foot on that gas in the confessionals. This whole episode, Gutta K was hilarious in his confessionals, period. They started talking about the baby, and they don't really want to talk about the baby because he killed people in Walmart. Like, girl. But I don't know if y'all caught that tea. Like, yeah, because, you know, the baby, he liked to play, you know, Gutta K started to say something. He was like, never mind, I ain't even going to do that. And hopefully, you know, hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully there's some validity to that. But, like, let's not play those kind of games because we all know how these men be, girl. They can't take a joke. They don't like joking about that. You feel what I'm saying? But whatever. All right, so boom, they're all in the sprinter van, and Mula is like, oh, everybody, I need everybody's attention. I need everybody's attention. And then he starts talking about William. William, you're doing too much. Gutta K is like not calling for everybody's attention and is talking to William. But anyway, he's like, yeah, you're doing too much, bro. You was twerking on me in the party. I don't appreciate that. I already told you I was straight. I don't even understand why you was doing all of this, and you know, you do too much for camera time and for clout. Like, let it come naturally, let it flow naturally, girl. Milan Crisper was in that phone, girl. Milan was so serious in that scene, baby. It was like, just like he was not even paying it no mind. You could tell he had his ear, you know, his good ear back to the, you know, back to make sure everything was still kosher and copacetic. But, you know, it was just like, what? None of the boys jumped in like they normally do. They just let it rock. William's like, I didn't do that though. I didn't do that though. William's in a confessional like, yeah, because I don't remember doing that, because I understand and I stand by my straight community, people. Okay? And you know, everybody has their own preferences. Girl, what?
I respect all of my straight community and their preference.
Anyway, Gutta K still in the confessional chewing them up, girl. Like, girl, this is the one moment that I feel a little bit sorry for William's chunky ass or something he said. Gutta K is hilarious. They pull in from the sprinter. It seemed like it kind of died down. It didn't go, it wasn't like any major heat, but William was the last one off the sprinter and was just like, you know, you could tell he was in distress. And the next thing you have Milan and Anthony, you know, sitting at poolside, and they're talking like, well, how'd you feel about last night? What you think about last night? And then it was just like, you know, well, girl, well, first of all, the baby was at our party. Like, were they? Basically, they talk about the Danny and the baby situation really quickly, really briefly. And then they start talking about the studio. We got to get into the studio and do a song for the show. Basically, we need to do a song for the show. And then they talk about having like a little house meeting because, did you hear? Then out of nowhere, Darrell comes over. Darrell sits down. And they're like, oh yeah, Darrell, what's your drunk ass? He comes over, sits by the pool. Then Milan with the dramatics. Did y'all hear? Y'all ain't hear. Hear what? No, hear what? Oh girl, because William is not coming back. William left the house last night, and they all looking like, what? Why? Basically, Milan gets into it with the guys, and he started talking about mutual respect. He was just like, you know, straight men don't appreciate gay men twerking on them in a cat suit. You know what I mean? I don't think a cat suit make a difference, but certainly not in no cat suit. Okay, do you hear what I'm saying? So he was just like, you know, when we're in these spaces, they're looking at us like a piece of meat or something, you know, especially when we're, you know, straight and we're going to into their space. Essentially, we can't do too much. And I don't want to like stifle anybody's personality, but you know, there's a time and a place for everything. I'm not going to twerk at church, you get what I'm saying? And I think that's what he was trying to say. Darrell said everybody should be able to wear exactly what they want to wear, but I do understand the idea of being respectful, as you should, Darrell. I like Milan and saying that, you know, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and in a perfect world we can just be exactly who we are, but we have to be respectful of other people's spaces because we want them to respect us. We need to show them with respect. And I think that anybody who is in the LGBTQ community understands and knows that, like, you know, I don't want to do too much around somebody who may be uncomfortable with it. Now, if you have that conversation and it's all good, it's all kosher, then it is what it is. But most black cisgendered heterosexual men already feel a type of way. So I don't see the point in trying to do too much. And that's, again, not trying to say you got to tone yourself down or dim your light, but just be respectful of people's spaces, period. So Milan calls William on the phone. He's in his room or whatever, what have you. And he's pretty much just saying, girl, you shouldn't be leaving yet. You shouldn't even let this, you know, turn this into a thing. And he was just like, no, I just felt like somebody was going to jump me. I got a text message, someone was going to jump me. He was like, nobody's going to jump you. And if it's for real, if it really boils down to it, you can come into my room. We can room together, or I can give you my room, but I'm not going to let anybody jump you. William is not trying to hear it. He's like, no, it's not about what anybody is saying to me. It's about what I feel. I feel energy, and I just felt like I was going to get jumped. William is in the confessional pretty much just like, listen, he's using those buzzwords here because nobody's going to make me stay. I'm leaving for my health and wellness. Like, you better go ahead and use those trigger words because you really are giving Karen. At this point, it's giving Karen. He did say something that I appreciated, though. He said, listen, ain't enough money in the world for me to come in here and get my ass beat. And that's for real. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb, period. Milan is walking around in his Speedos. He goes over to Dylan's room. And he's like, so what's going on with your friend? And Dylan was like, I don't know what happened. After last night, y'all went out to the club or whatever the case may be. He got a text message pretty much just saying that they're going to come back to the house and beat our ass or whatever. And Dylan was like, hold on, wait, let's say not us, it's you. And he was just like, he packed his bag and he did. Milan is trying to understand and plead the case like, well, you know, one, that we know that he's not a fighter, so we're not going to fight him. But Darrell already fought him or whatever, however that worked out. And then he said, if Mula was trying to fight him, that would have happened on the Sprinter. You get what I'm saying? If y'all was beefing at that wedding, y'all should have been beefing at that wedding. And that's not what it's given. And the next thing we have Mula and Curtis, and they got their platters, girl. And, you know, Curtis was all hyped like, yeah, last night we was in LA, the lights in the city, I was feeling it. And Mula just sitting there with that little fake sulking face that he has. He was like, nah, man, I wasn't feeling that shit, man, because he should have known better not to do that. Like, I just wish that the storylines were, like, a little bit more organic because, like, y'all the next day, William's not there. You're still talking about that? Like, come on, dog. In comes Dylan, and he's like, so Mula is like, yeah, what type time y'all on or whatever the case. And Dylan made it very clear, I ain't on no type time, period. And he was just like, I don't know what happened. Mula and Curtis pretty much plead their case of we're not beefing with you, and you know, I fucks with the LGBTQ community. And Mula talks about the fact that he invited William to his radio station, played his music, gave him an interview, so he don't understand why, like, where this energy is coming from as to Mula's gonna hit me, Mula's gonna fight me, because I never gave him that type of, you know, inclination. However, I do want to draw my boundaries and let him know, like, that's just not cool. I just let Dylan know that, you know, we good. Dylan does this very weird, very awkward type of dap moment. Oh my gosh, y'all, I should put it on the screen, but I'm not. But girl, that dap was weird. In the next scene, we have the producers at first talking to William, trying to pretty much convince William that nothing's gonna happen to him. So he's saying those buzzwords. Well, I know that he's saying that he wasn't gonna hit me, but I just saw him rising up and I just felt like something was gonna happen. So because he stood up, or his voice was rising in tone and volume, that meant that he was gonna hit you. And y'all, I'm not a fool here. I do understand that those boys was in there fighting for no reason. They was carrying on, okay? The girls were carrying on, and I get that. So I understand, like, why he is cautious, okay? But one, you knew what you were signing up for. And then two, Mula doesn't seem like he's going to fight somebody who doesn't want to fight him. I feel like Mula got into it with Karen because Karen was kind of like, you know, he didn't view him as gay, like feminine gay or whatever the case may be. Them boys all know too that they outnumbered. They not about to really be in there trying to box with no gay boy and it's a house full of gays. You get what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. You need to be more afraid of one of the gay boys who might jump on your butt, not them. But I digress. So they started talking like, well, you know, if, you know, well, y'all left this front and everything was cool, then why aren't you coming back into the house? He was like, no, I just feel like, no, I feel like I know I'm gonna get jumped. I don't want to have anxiety. I was having dreams in my room about getting beat up. Then Dylan started digging in his behind about leaking information to the blogs. You've been leaking it, right? So you've been leaking it, right? Bro, yo, you've been leaking it. So as soon as he said you've been leaking it, he was like, yes or no? He was like, yeah. So then he was like, oh, hold on, right? So when he said, hold on, y'all, he hopped right into that car, closed the door, and drove off. Like, yo, and then Mula was like, yo, bro, come on, get out the car. Now, granted, his approach wasn't the best, but it certainly wasn't the worst. That man wasn't screaming. He wasn't irate. He was a little bit stern in his voice. He was assertive is what it was. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't meet him with a whole bunch of raw type energy for him to just hop in the car and leave like that. Not unless he already had in his mind, I seen enough. Immediately no. You know what I mean? Milan comes out because he got to be in every scene apparently. Just like, well, where's William? They leave, whatever the case. In the next scene, we have Gutta and Carrion's in the bathroom. And Gutta comes in like, I'm about to hop in your bed. I'm in your bed. So Gutta gets in the bed, put on his shades, act like he sleep real quick when Carrion was coming out the door. They were just so cute. He was like, I'm tanning. They're funny. You know, they pretty much talk like, well, what you doing or whatever. Like, what you mean what I'm doing? He was like, I'm single, you're single. You know, he was like, well, we're friends or whatever the case. He was like, well, you take it as friendly. I'm being flirty. This is what Carrion is saying. And then Gutta's in a confessional like, yeah, you're giving me very much like you're doing too much if you want to be friends. Like, we're friends so we don't mess around or whatever. Carrion obviously have some attraction to Gutta. Gutta is obviously attracted to him. What's happening off the camera, y'all, we will never know. Not unless it gets messy and they go on live and start airing each other. But clearly, it's there. Love is in the air. Gutta K opens up to him and says, you know, I just lost my stepdad 2 months ago from a fentanyl overdose. Which, you know, people are really struggling out here, y'all. This fentanyl is really killing people. Be careful. And, you know, he was just like, you know, you're really strong. You're here two months ago. Like, you know, you're really strong. And then we get into this whole Carrion situation with his father. Y'all, I know that this was like a main deal of the story for this week's episode, but I don't really have nothing nice to say, so I'm trying not to say it. I'm gonna just leave it like that, okay? Carrion does a lot of talking around, okay? I just couldn't get with my father because of what he still chose to, you know, to deal with. Like, what are you talking about? His new wife, his like, what are you talking about? You know, there was a lack of respect on my end. I felt like he could disrespect me at any time. You know, when that situation went viral, like, I didn't know it was gonna you know, blow up into this global thing. Really, I just felt like, you know, I felt it was so abusive and I felt so disrespected. I told him I was going to leak it if he continued, and he did. He was like, you know, people, you know, what hurt me the most was that he was apologizing to the world, but he never apologized to me, his son. You can tell that something there is really deep and deeply broken within a relationship. He said that relationship is spiritually dead. You know, I can't understand how, you know, forgiveness is a principle in Christianity, but you can't forgive me. Carrion is yearning for reconciliation with his father. I think his father is not willing to meet him there. I don't know the ins and outs, and it was painful to watch. It was. I applaud Carrion for being so open. He wasn't really that open because what he was saying was still convoluted. I applaud him for still trying to say something, girl. But, you know, quiet as it's kept, it was, you know, it was said that, you know, there was some molestation that happened. I don't know if it was between Kirk and the father, somebody in the church, but y'all, it gets deep, and I said I wasn't going to do it, so I'm not. Carrion breaks down in his confessional, and he talks about how alone he truly is in the world and all of these things. He was very vulnerable. That's what I applaud him for being so vulnerable in that moment. You know, I really wish I could have given him a hug. Very much like that type of person. Like, I feel what others feel, and my heart goes to him. Y'all, be kind to one another. You don't know what people are going through. And, you know, sometimes, like, if you don't have relationships with your family, your friends turn into your family, y'all. Sometimes we need to show up in our friendships, and our friendship turns into our family, for real. Just be kind to your people, your folks, whoever they may be, friends or not, blood or not. If they your folks, they in your corner, stand by him. Gutta gives Carrion a hug, and you can tell that Gutta really truly care. Like, they have a for real thing that they have, and I love it. Darrell's on FaceTime with William, and William's a little bit more flared up while he's talking to Darrell. Like, yeah, girl, I'm not finna get beat up for nobody. You know what I mean? I done spent 20K on my body, and I'm not trying to get displaced. Baby, if he spent 20,000 on his body, what did you get? I hope it wasn't them little cakes you got for 20 grand. I hope it wasn't that, because you for certainly ain't getting no lipo. You should, well, look, whatever. Anyway. Oh, he continues with this, I'm one with the universe, and I meditate, and I can just tell that the energy was off. And I'm sure that there was some spirits and demonic stuff that's going on with all those wine and spirits and drinking, and I'm Casamigos, and yeah, I'm looking for clout. So, you know, good for him. He made the decision to get off the show. Let's just respect it and move on. But it was giving Karen. Darrell says, listen, I don't know about y'all, but you know that saying, a hit dog holler? I believe that he was really shaking his butt on Mula, because why would you leave? And they just had this little fake phony house meeting. They said that William's not coming back for real this time. Anthony in the confessional like, you know what, Dylan is corny. He was looking at him with this little phony look. Dylan is corny, but he's our last white boy standing. So shout out to Dylan. Shout out to Dylan for holding it down. You know, you ain't too scary, Dylan. Let's see what you got to give. John starts talking about the song that they need to do. He was like, yeah, well, Natalie appointed me. I'm the leader. I'm the one that's in charge, girl. If that's what you are, that's what you are. It never has to be spoken. Darrell's in the confessional being shady. Like, girl, I ain't hear about that since high school. You know, they talking about a song. I don't feel like doing no song because I have a song that's about to be featured on Stars, like a real song. I gotta be on no song with y'all. I'm like, you better let them know that you where the money reside. Cause the kid's like, listen, how we all about to get on the track? It's about to be a damn trio duet. I don't got time for it. But they end the episode with a toast. Didn't I say they was gonna be toasted every episode, y'all? Do y'all remember when I said that? Bad boys for life. And with that being the case, y'all, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me on the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing. I'll do this every weekend. All right, is that all right with you? You know what I mean? Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. As always, I'm sending you much love and much light, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.